Hey everybody, welcome to One Life. It is hump day. It is Wednesday. How are we all? Look who I've got sitting next to me. The wonderful Callum is finally here on the couch with us at One Life. How are we, Callum?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm glad you're good. You're good. You're good. Anyway, One Life, we've been having a quick chat before you come on the show. And like all of the artists, have you got time to sit and watch the programs? Of course you're not, because you're going into your studios or you're playing out live. So at the end of the day, this is the One Life world. This is the world where indie artists meet local and national charities throughout the year and be able to support them in a way they can basically raise awareness and raise funds for some really important charities that we have helped. We have helped over 60 charities since we've been going, and we've been going strong. And everybody keeps contacting us saying, can we come to One Life? Of course you can. Like our Ugandan family who have joined us again this week. We are now supporting 3 orphanages in Uganda as part of One Life, either on the academy or through the podcast. So I'll tell you what, I used to wake up with one set of orphanage children wishing me a happy morning. Now I have 3 villages who are texting me in the morning, sending me songs, dances and music, which is an amazing way to wake up in the morning, you know, to be coming in and seeing your messenger with all of these great smiley faces from the kids over in his orphanage. So, you know, One Life is basically happening a lot of people at the moment. So, in terms of news from last night to now, we've had a busy time. We have welcomed a new academy student called Jason. Jason's going to be supported by Gabe Shillman from ISSA. He will be his mentor. And we've also got this new orphanage, and the gentleman who's running the orphanage, I want to say hello to Amambula Fred. He does a great piece of work over in the orphanage over in Uganda by teaching the children music as part of their education, but also going above and beyond by making sure that while those children are with them, they are fed, they are also clothed, they are given support, education, and safety and security. You know, the children over there have an absolutely amazing time, and the amount of records and singles that they've sent to me has been absolutely amazing, and the music is absolutely brilliant. So welcome to the academy, welcome to the podcast, and we really look forward to working with you. Thank you to our sponsors, My Indie. You have been doing great with your radio stations throughout the week. They are being posted 7 days a week. Your shows are live 24/7, 7 days a week. And our lucky people who are on our live shows also go over to France on a audio show, which gets played on a Thursday. So, Callum, your show will be played in France sometime in the future, in the next couple of weeks, as your audio,
Yeah.
and that'll be sent over on My Indie as well. Okay, My Indie is a great radio platform for any indie artist to send in your music, and that will be given over to the DJs throughout the week. And they also connect with a lot of the radio stations in the International Singer-Songwriters Association. So it's a way of spreading your music as much as you possibly can and get heard in relation to those singles coming out. In relation to ISSA, one more thing is that we still need your votes. Yes, One Life is there for voting this year in the ISSA team. We want to go to Atlanta. We want to be in the finals. But like everyone else, we are having to spend the next 30 days posting on our timeline that we need your votes, okay? It's not going to stop. So if you're seeing a post, we're all doing the same thing. And we need your votes, and we won't stop until we get them, okay? Until April the 30th, and that's when the voting closes. And then on May the 2nd, we will find out if we have made the finals in Atlanta, okay? Let's keep fingers crossed, because remember, I'm not going just for me. I'm going for all of the family in One Life, okay? All those people, all those charities. We want to spread the word on how well One Life has been doing over the past 6 years. So, Callum, let's go to your story of music, which you have sent your bio out to everybody. Okay, I can't even count. You know, when I go to the ISSA group in terms of where they are in terms of indie artists at the moment, 18,000 on Facebook, and another 7,000 on other social media. So 27,000 people were given your bio just by the ISSA group.
Oh
And then the
my
other
God.
19 groups that I sent out to, they were several thousand in each group. So, you know, that bio went out and everybody, hopefully you've had a good read about Callum. Okay, you've had a good read about her bio, been able to listen to her music, stream her music. And then if you haven't, you're going to definitely do that after the show. So, Callum, welcome to the UK. How is it over where you are in Maryland? Tell us a bit about Maryland. Whereabouts is that in America?
It's on the Eastern Shore, East Coast, where I am in Maryland. The other parts of Maryland are kind of up north and a little bit west. But I live on the East Coast near Ocean City and the oceans and stuff. It's it's an area that is like 20 years behind everybody else. I will say that, but it's a really pretty space, and I often find myself coming back to this area just to relax when I need a breather. It's very pretty. It's a beautiful day out right now, so I love it.
Excellent. About the music scene there, what's the music scene like? If I was to visit, what would I find?
Not a lot of new gen stuff. It's very old country, maybe 80s hairband music. So
I like
it's
the
not
80s hairband
anything that's
music.
new gen. Yeah.
me and Vanessa 80s hairband. You know, we were looking
Yeah.
around the local shop today and we were looking at flared trousers, and I was like, flared trousers back in, that's so 80s. You know,
Oh my
the
God.
80s
Yeah.
music culture will never go away from the UK. I think it's still one of the strongest generations of music that is
Yeah.
played even now in the local bars and clubs. And all the singers, you know, when they go out and they sing and they do their songs, you know, there's a lot of 80s stuff still out there. It's 1 year which will never go away. Anyway, looking at your bio, let's go right back to early beginning. And I love the way you put your bio out. Is that when you first started singing, it was from the crib, very young.
It was from the crib, yeah.
Was you singing, not crying, baby, when people were around you?
I mean, I started humming at first, and it started out like that, and then it just progressed into singing, and I didn't stop. I was always singing, always making stuff up. I was always doing something with my voice.
What was you like as a toddler? If your mum was on the show,
Oh
how would
God.
she sort of put you over as a toddler? You know,
I was
you're painting a picture that you were very, very, you know, a singing, lovely little baby, you know,
Yeah.
smiley. That's how it comes across in the crib. But if your mum was on the show, what would she say about you as a toddler?
I was a screamer.
You as a
I'm
screamer.
adopted. I'm adopted, and the night that I was brought home from the hospital, I screamed so much. Allegedly, a vein in the middle of my head was so prominent, and my face was red, and I was screaming and screaming and screaming, and the only thing that would calm me down was a car ride. That's the only thing that got me to stop crying. Yeah.
Yeah, my oldest was like that. I had to take her round and round the block constantly, and then she would just stop. Got to the point where I put her in a car seat, and if I put her in the car seat, she would be like completely calm, and it'd be like, really? You screamed your lungs out for 2 hours, just be sitting in the car seat. I didn't even get to the car. Were you like
That's
that?
how I was.
That's how you was.
That's exactly how I was.
Do you think the screaming and sort of the vocal being so young as a baby, you know, do you think that's helped you singing now? Do you think being able to project your voice like a screaming baby, you know, does that help? Having a big set of lungs, you know,
Sometimes.
you transformed to a singer like at 13 years old. That's really, really young.
Yeah. I mean, as a baby, I guess it could have helped, but screaming damages your vocal cords for sure. But
It does. There you go.
I'm sure it did train my stomach to really push that diaphragm, get that strong diaphragm.
Was you an actor when you was a toddler? I've got two girls. My two girls are very much when they were toddlers. everything was an act.
Yep.
It was theatre, it was singing, it was everything.
Mhm.
You couldn't sit
Yeah.
down for 5 minutes as they'd walk into and do a new, like, I don't know, a song for us, or do something which they've seen on the telly.
Yeah.
Like iCarly and things like that. It was just
Yeah.
constant. Were you like that as a toddler?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I did theater for 6, 7 years, and I was always on the stage. I always liked to be on stage. And then I did karate. I'd come home, I'd be doing my karate in the living room. My mom has a video of it. I was always like, let me show you something. Let me show you this. Let me,
Oh, cool.
nonstop,
Okay.
nonstop.
So you don't need security guards when you're gigging now live. You don't need security guards because basically you're sorting the people out yourself.
Well, I am a very small person this way and a little bit this
Okay.
way, but I'm very short, so I am kickable, I am throwable, so I might need a bodyguard, but I can defend myself a little bit.
Fantastic. You do need to,
Yeah,
as an artist. Sometimes the coming off stage can be pretty
yeah.
scary, depending on what
Mhm.
gigs you've been at to, especially the larger gigs as well. Sometimes you do need to handle yourself, even though those security people around you. Sometimes you need to do it yourself. Have you ever got into that sort of situation yourself, coming off stage? Have you ever been worried or scared? I notice on your profile, you talk a lot about sort of like women singers, and
Mhm.
promoting female singers and things like that. What is it like for a female singer coming off some big stages like you have in terms of Coldplay and things like that? Is it
Yeah.
scary, but for coming off the stages? Do you feel warmed by the crowd? What sort of feelings go through your mind when you come off a big stage?
It's a good question. When I was younger, it was kind of like, I come off the stage, I'm like, I didn't care. I didn't care. I wasn't looking who was around me. I was like, heck yeah, I just did that. Now it's a little bit different where I'm kind of like, when I come off stage, I'm looking like who's in the room, who's around me, who's coming at me. Because it's a lot more dangerous now, especially since I'm 18, and sometimes there's some weird people in the crowd, but I mean, there's nothing that I haven't really been like, nothing has really bad happened to me before or yet. There's this one incident where I was playing at a bar, a really popular bar a couple years ago, and I think I was about 14, 15. And there's a really drunk guy in front of me. There's three of them, and they were like reaching out to touch me on the stage, and then one guy peed his pants right in front of me. So that was fun.
Dear. I love stories of like when you're going out and when you're gigging and things like that, because there's
Yeah.
so many things that can happen. I can remember one. It's always going to stick in my mind. Somebody booked me and basically said that they wanted a party, something between DJing and like vocals. So I said, yeah, okay, I've got some DJ stuff. I can do some music for you. But basically, by the middle of the day, he was basically just saying that he couldn't pay me by the end of the night. And then the barman was like, you need to get out of this pub. And I was like, what for?
Mhm.
And he goes, basically, he cons people to come and do parties for his family. And then basically he will get these family members to come into the pub and cause a fight. So he
Oh
doesn't
my
have to pay
god.
you. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, no. He said, they will be here soon. I suggest you start packing up. I packed up my car and they've literally come in with knives and batons and God knows what else. I'm like, what have I got myself into here? Like, this bloke was so lovely when I was calling him. He was just a
Oh
disabled
my
person as well.
god.
He was absolutely such a lovely bloke. It's like, yeah, I'm raising money for cancer research and cerebral palsy jointly. And, it's such a lovely bloke, like talking to on the booking sheet. And like even when I
Yeah.
got there in the middle, and then all of a sudden these people just come up with batons and knives and things like that.
Oh
Me and my
my
mate was like,
god.
"That's it, quick, get in the car, let's get going."
Holy crap. That's
I know,
crazy.
it's
That's really
crazy,
crazy.
absolutely
That's
crazy. I tell you
different.
what, on Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, and X, please leave us a comment. If you are an indie artist, tell us what your best experience was in terms of the most scariest experience that you've had while you've been playing live in a venue. It could be in a funny one also, because I think someone peeing their pants, I think that's quite funny, especially actually served him right, served him right. Anyway, so 13 years old, can you remember that day when you got on stage, how wonderful it felt, and what did you sing? What was your first song?
Oh, the first song I ever like fully sang on stage with a band, it was "Killing Me Softly." That was the
Great
first
song.
song I ever sang, and I was all dressed up, and whoever wants to do the research, don't don't look it up. I was, but I had pink and green hair, and it was like really short, and then I had like check pants on and chains and necklaces and everything. And there was some guy that came up to me and he's like, "You're on next, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you better be good because you're dressed like it." So yeah, that it was fun. I
Um,
was honestly really nervous.
I bet you were, and
Yeah,
especially when you are such a young musician. You are a young musician now, but you get into a stage in your career now where you go out so often, you know what to
yeah.
expect. You've been part of this indie world now enough to be feeling confident. But even at 13, 14,
Oh my
at
god.
that sort of age, yes, you may be confident in your vocal ability, but what you are going to go into in terms of the environments you're going to go into for a singer, it can be really worrying, really, nervy, but also fun as well. It is a bit of a mixture, but yeah.
Mhm.
But in terms of sort of the transition between, singing songs that you've heard on the radio to singing your own songs, when did you start writing your own songs?
I started writing my own music when I was around 10. I was in 5th grade and I wrote a song for my teacher. It was like the end of the year and I wrote her, she was my favorite teacher, and I wrote her a song. I was like, it was called "I Will Remember You," and I still have the lyric sheet. I
Oh,
don't remember the chords or anything, but I still have the lyric sheet. And I wrote her a song, but I started taking it seriously around like 14, 15 is when I really was like, all right, I like doing this. I think I'm decent at it for my age, and so I took it seriously and I started writing more music.
fantastic. Who was your best judge of character when you was writing at that age? When you gave that to your teacher, what was the feedback that
Mhm.
you was getting about your writing very early on?
Everybody loved it. All of the students loved it, the
Yeah.
teacher loved it. I played it on the morning announcements, and people were like, "Dude, that song stuck in my head. I love it." And I was like, I was 10, 11. I was like, "No way, y'all are lying to me. Y'all you guys are lying to me." But people really loved it. I don't know.
That's good. That's good. And in terms of the sort of the stories that you're writing, have you feel that they've developed in any particular way? Where, I think when you first start writing, most people have the different stories of girlfriends, boyfriends,
Yeah.
not being told that you got to stay at home, teenage stuff, those sort of have you seen your style of story writing change and sort of what you write about change as you've been sort of carrying on in your career?
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, I kind of got stuck in that only writing about boyfriend, girlfriend stuff for a while, and then my which was crazy because the first song I ever really wrote was about a teacher, and then I got sucked into the girlfriend boyfriend stuff because I had a really not good relationship, and that kind of it put me in that slot and I couldn't get out of it. And
Mm,
then I started writing music about toxic relationships with family and friends, and I write songs about my sister and stuff like that. So I mean, that kind of pulled me out of it, and now I haven't really written a song in a minute, but I'm kind of out of that now, and I write about family and stuff and
family
suicide
stuff, brilliant.
prevention. So
I see that. We are going to get onto that as a really important topic for yourself, but also an important topic for many people who will listen to the
Mhm.
show today. We will go and give a bit of a health order before we do that. But what I want to know also is your song, sort of how you do your sort of sets when you go out live. You know, a lot of
Mhm.
indie artists feel confident of playing their own music through the whole show. And everybody knows their song so well because they're supported by lots of family and fans who go and visit them. Others will go out
Mhm.
and do half a set of, you know, cover music and then half a set. So if I was coming to see your show in Maryland, what sort of show would I come and see? Tell me a bit about it.
You would come and see a show with it's a mix of originals and, cover songs, but I do the cover songs a little bit differently, than they're usually played by the original artists, because I have a show on I believe the 25th or the 26th in Ocean City, and it's gonna be with like, because I'm very into the whole like emo punk rock music right now. I'm kind of going back to my roots because that's what I was into when I was 13. But I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's that very like we're taking
Cool.
those
That
like
sounds really
very
good.
heavy, yeah, the very heavy rock songs, and we're kind of bringing them back a little bit, kind of chilling them out. So I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna sound good.
I tell you what, the rock scene at the moment in America seems to be growing big, big, big. You know, the amount
Right.
of podcasts I've done where rock metal or even country rock, you know, the traditional country and the mix with the country rock songs is, you know, growing. And we're having a lot of singers sort of saying that that's what they're going towards. And I'm finding myself going back to my youth in terms of the
Yeah.
metal bands. You know, I'm sort of
Mhm.
family to some of the metal bands now, and a shout out, to, you know, to Stone Push and you know
Yeah.
Stonebreed. You know, absolutely brilliant bands. But I'm finding that I'm starting to listen to that type of music more over the last few months because there seems to be a big drive again for rock music and heavy rock music. So yeah, and that's great. Exactly the same with places like the Whiskey. Have you been to the Whiskey?
I haven't. I haven't, no.
Yeah, there you go. That's something we can sort out, okay? Because we have connections to the whiskey from the amazing
Heck
Stonebreed.
yeah.
So hi to you guys. They are looking for singers and bands who want to go and play at the whiskey. Okay, they keep advertising it, so we'll get you some information over about that as well. Because what an amazing, you know, feeling it would be able to go in one of rock legends' places as regards to playing music. And Paul Austin band over from the UK is going in August. So we're looking forward to seeing that one and how that one pans out. Okay, so what we are 20 minutes into the program. I would love to get your music out to everybody now and put on one of your first songs. And then what we do after that is we go to charity and the charitable causes. And obviously, we are here this month for food and food parcels going out to local shops and local families. We're going to find out a bit about how Maryland's food banks are being supportive to their families, and then we will be talking to you about sort of suicide support and all the support that you give to those families in relation to the links with your music. So let's have a look at the ones that you sent me. I am going to choose, okay, the present past. Tell me a bit of story about that song and why it was written.
The present past is kind of it's written about someone who's finding themselves after going through quite literally hell, whether that be a relationship or something hard in their life or family, something bad, and it's about someone finding themselves or someone who's on the journey to figuring out who they are.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I've heard the song. It's an absolutely great song. I'm going to play the present to everybody, and it's a present from Callum to you, the audience. Okay, fantastic. Here we go.
Made all the laws, broke all the rules, had all the answers, left me confused without me there to use. You don't end up crying on your trying to explain how I feel. Right now, I don't know how I let it all out. The present is past us now. Don't want you around. I'm finding myself now.
Okay, coming back. Absolutely awesome song. And I can see that rock scene coming back. Production-wise, absolutely amazingly well produced. Have you used the same producer all the time since you've been professional?
I have, yeah. I'm kind of, I mean, we've been together since I was like 14, 15, but now I'm kind of branching out and I want to like learn to collaborate with other people and stuff. So I'm kind of branching out, but yeah, I've been using the same producer and he's awesome.
Brilliant, fantastic. Local to you, or do you have to travel far?
Local. He lives
Local.
about 15 minutes from me, so it's perfect.
Fantastic. What do you want to move for? He's only 15 minutes down the road. He's coming up with some great tracks.
Yeah.
So that's what I see about collaboration.
Heck yeah. I mean, just to get out there, get the experience.
We love our production, team. Our producers are a massive part of our family. We can't live without them at the end of the day, and big up production team who done that last track. Absolutely fantastic. Right, we're going to travel to Maryland Food Bank. Have you ever been to your local food bank? Do you know where they are?
I have. I've been to I know that there's one by us, and we go to quite often because my father had 2 strokes and he can't work, and my mom is on disability, so they both don't work. I'm the only person that's bringing income right now, so we often go and we get food for the family because it's hard for us to afford it. Because why are eggs $12?
Anybody at any time need a food bank. I've done it in my lifetime. I come out of work at one particular period, and my mum, who was supporting me at the time, basically got to a point where she couldn't continue. She recommended going down the local church to the local food bank, and they were the most amazing, wonderful people I have ever met. And I tell you what, the amount of food that I come home with, it fed me for like 2 weeks. I had all the staples, fruit and vegetables, you know, even some luxuries in there as well, as like bars of chocolate and things like that. I'm like, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
It's like loads of stuff being put in. But, you know, I think where we've got to now in terms of the food banks is the reason why we're doing this month. And Bruce Colin, who basically asked for this to be put across this month, is that we are getting to a point where we're running out of food. We're running out of places to be able to provide these food banks. And actually, as we are hitting recessions harder and we are losing money harder, we're losing the ability to be able to provide to the food banks. But they still provide us with a place where, you know, without that, you know, we would be in a place where we couldn't receive food for the week. And, you know, like you say, for when we've got disabled family who aren't able to get out to the local shops or earn the money, you know, to be able to, these places are absolutely essential, you know, in terms of getting it. Okay, so let's watch the video together. It's only a couple of minutes, and then we'll have a bit of thought about the actual video itself, and then we'll go on to your suicide awareness for the charities that you support. Okay, so I'm just going to pop behind a minute and put the play button on.
Sometimes it's hard when me and my wife, we get SSI, but with that little bit of income that we get, we're just barely making it through the process with rent, water bill, and electric bill. But when I see these kids come in, you know, my heart turns to them. But other families, man, I'm really concerned about, because I know how it is out here, living up in the projects, you know, because I lived up there. You know, it's hard. It's really hard out here for these people. I mean, it hurts when you ain't got nothing to eat. It really hurts. You know, I see a lot of people out here, they struggle, man. They're like haven't eaten for about 3 or 4 days a week, and look at them, and it hurts so bad.
It's kind of hard to explain, not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. It really is. Wasn't used to that, actually, being food insecure. It's not just being hungry, it's the mental part. My name is Marcy, this is avail. I live up the street. I feed a lot of the kitties in the neighborhood. That gives me something to do. The food bank helps me to know where I'm getting my next meal. And it doesn't just help me, it helps a lot of friends that in the neighborhood of mine, people that have children. Behind the scenes, the food bank does other things. It brings people together and all. I'm very grateful for what the food bank does. I'm grateful for it all. It all helps.
My name is Andrew Wright, and it's been a wonderful thing to come here. Oh, it feels very wonderful to know that I got some food in my house, because I have been in there without any food. I've been getting a lot of meats from here that's really helped me, and the vegetables and fruit. I get a little desserts too, you know.
Hi, my name is Roxana James. Well, I have 2 very active boys. Yeah. It's kind of hard during the summer months because, you know, we're always running out of food at the house. Well, the first time I came, people that work here were very nice with me. They made me feel like, don't be ashamed of being here.
I am 61 years. Me and my wife, we disabled. We are on a fixed income, and then nowadays, you have to figure out whether you're going to eat or pay your bill. And with this, you know, it gives you some kind of sense where you say, no, if I can come here and get so and so, that my bills can be paid, and that is a blessing.
As a mother and I was a single parent, you worry about whether you're going to have enough to stretch. I've had the time where I've had to stretch the money. One time my check didn't come on time, and if it was not for this food bank, I'm not quite sure where I would have been. How would I describe the people? I would describe them as caring, loving, people that want to give back. Sometimes people believe that because you go to a food bank, you're either messing up your money or you're not stretching what you're supposed to stretch. But I think everyone needs help. We're all one paycheck away from the street. So if you could step outside of yourself and look into the box, you would realize that you need a food bank just like everybody else. So the food bank definitely helps.
So it's a beautiful thing, you know, at the end of the month where you still can look in the freezer and you still got food in there.
Oh, I want to say thank you, and it's been a very, very good blessing for me.
The Maryland Food Bank rocks, and keep doing what you're doing because you really are helping out the communities a lot.
Powerful video, and well done to all those at Maryland for all you do for the local residents. You know, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all you do for those families. And it is very true. One paycheck, if it's missed, it
Yeah.
could be the next time that you need that help from your local food bank. But don't be scared. Really, don't be scared to go and get that help. That's what they're there for. You know, such a diverse group of people. Can you remember when you first went into a food bank? What it was like? You know, was you surprised?
It's definitely something that when you step in, it's, the reality hits you that that's where you are. But it's a good thing that you go and you've gotten that help, because it's what she said was true. It's one paycheck away from being on the streets is a very scary and surreal feeling. It's just, I don't wish it upon anyone. And this is something that I haven't really talked about before, but my family and I, we go to the church and we get food, and they're very helpful. They're extremely nice. There's so many people that go there, and they're just, it's really great. You can also meet people there and make friends. It's a really good thing. And if you need the help, don't not go get it. Go. If you need the help, go.
You'd be very surprised at the people who need food banks. You'd be very surprised about the mix of culture, age ranges,
Yes.
backgrounds, you know, in terms of the support that they give. You know, it's not just about providing food. It's almost like providing somewhere to talk, somewhere to share experiences, you know, and a lot of the food banks aren't just connected, you know, to a village hall. You know, they can be connected to churches, they can be connected to local supermarkets. That, you know, they're all over the place. And at the end of the day, you know, if you are in a place where you do get to that stage in your life, don't be ashamed. There's a lot of people who are in that situation, but they're there to support you and there to help you. Now, we're raising awareness of all the food banks around the world, and we want to say thank you to everybody who is kindly helping out those families. You know, and we've had firsthand tonight of a singer who basically has supported her family through the use of food banks, which is absolutely fantastic. But seeing you grow up, I bet every single family member are really, really proud of you. If we go to the top levels of big achievements, geez, girl, 18 years old, and you're opening up the stages for the likes of Coldplay. Not many people can say that at 18 years old, can they? Hey, how did that come about?
I was performing with these two boys from Delaware, which is the next state over. And we were invited to Philadelphia, and we were on the Bud Light Seltzer stage. It was a pre-opener, and there were 60,000 people there coming in on their
Wow.
cars, coming in person. They were just like surrounding the stage. And it was absolutely insane. There was so much going on behind the scenes that I'm not sure if I can talk about, but it was just,
Yeah,
it was
no.
crazy. It was so fun. I loved it. And it actually turns out that my best friend, her family was there, and they knew who I was. They knew who I am because they saw me there, and they're like, "What? You're so incredible!" And it was really cool.
Oh, how cool. You
Yeah.
know, was Coldplay and Foreigner on the same night, or were they two separate gigs?
It was the same night. Same night, yeah.
Same
They
night.
were
Oh,
mhm,
same night. To both of them
yeah.
in the same arena and play on their stage.
Mhm.
Oh my god!
It
I
was
bet you
crazy.
felt you'd hit it big time.
Oh my god. I wasn't even there. I was having the time of my life. I was jumping all around, singing 21 Pilots. It was insane. I loved it. I had a great time.
How about that? How about the singing back to you? You know, when you're sort of going out gigging, we all gig as independent artists in so many different places, where it's a local bar, a party for our family, and then 60,000. You know, what does it feel
Yeah.
like being in front of all those fans singing along with you? What does it really feel like being on stage?
I guess it's at the time, I was just like, "This is freaking awesome." Like, it didn't even process in my head. I was just happy to see people, like, looking up at me and, like, dancing and singing lyrics. Even though they weren't my songs, it was just I was like, "What the heck?" Like, it was so awesome. I loved it. And there are people behind the stage on their cars, like standing on top of their cars and stuff. It was really freaking cool. I loved it. It's awesome.
Yeah, brilliant. In relation to sort of singles, you've had many singles already, which are sort of hitting the local airplay and hitting the streaming charts and things like that. Some which are going into the thousands in relation to sort of the download figures and things like that. Are you like me in the morning? One of the first things you do before you go to your work or whatever, you wake up and you go, I wonder how many thousands and where it's reached out to in terms of countries. I'm a real data freak. I need to know. It's just sort of something that drives me as a musician, especially if I've released a new track. How, where have you got to in terms of that? Do you really sort of nitpick into your songs? You critique on your own songs?
I really try not to. I'm working, I have like a really good team right now. We're solid, and sometimes they'll message me and they're like, dude, your song is like platinum in Ireland or something like that. I'm like, what the heck? How did that happen? It's really cool. It's really fun. I try not to worry too much about it. I really try not to, because if I look at the numbers and I'm very like always looking at them, I get really in my head and I get really insecure, and then I compare myself to other artists and I'm like, so I try not to.
I think for me, I'm more countries. I like the fact when I look down the country list and someone's listened to it in Japan, I'm like, oh my god, why is someone listening to my song 9,000 Miles, which was done 6 years ago in Japan for last night? It's like, that makes me more excited than the numbers.
That's the most fun part, is seeing who's streaming and where. Like, why do I have listeners in Nigeria? I don't know. How
did they find my song?
Yeah, how did they find me?
Yeah, what's all that about? Am I really that famous that someone just picked up that song in Nigeria? It's like they haven't even seen me. But in terms of sort of like people who are like going through indie artistry music, especially at a very young age, one of the things that they do look towards is things like America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, the pop idols, the X Factors and things like that. And I spoke to you a bit about before the show, saying that, I'd done X Factor and you have also been on American Idol. Now, there are people who have gone out and done that scene and they've seen behind the scenes what it's really like going on to the TV shows and things like that. But you posted quite a lot recently about American Idol. How was your experience on American Idol? How did you find it?
It was a really, really, really great learning experience. It just wasn't, I don't think that it was my time yet. And I spoke to the judges about it. We all kind of agreed it wasn't my time yet. I needed to mature a little bit, but I loved it. I had a really great experience. Everyone I met was extremely kind. The nicest people you'll ever meet. Luke, Carrie, and Lionel, they're the nicest people you'll ever meet. So, I mean, it's just,
it said on your face, where did you get to? It says judges and you say Luke Perry. So did you actually go on to the sort of the TV side?
I wasn't. They did show.
Judges?
Yes, I did meet them. I performed for them, and I got 3 no's, but that's okay. But yeah, they didn't show my audition. They might put it out and be like, here's a little snippet of this person's audition, but I wasn't on Hulu or any of the streaming services like that, which is fine, because I mean. But yeah,
it is fine. You know what? You say that it is fine. It is fine because at the end of the day, you got to that stage. I remember when I did mine in 2015. The fact that I got to the O2, the fact that I was part of the filming for the actual show, it was absolutely amazing. I couldn't even believe that I got through. I went with some amazing singers, and I just thought, you know what? There's no way they're going to pick me. And they sent them all home, and I stayed. And it was like, well, was it the jacket? What was it? What I was wearing? Was it the song choice? It was really weird experience, and especially with the way it was all set out in terms of, you could only do this, you could only do that, you had to sing like this, you had to sing like that. X Factor. I don't know about American Idol. And this is for all those who are possibly thinking of doing this in the future. And I hope, Callum, you go back and show them how bloody amazing you really are, because I didn't do it and I wish I had. But you
Yeah.
know, for X Factor, it was more like a soap opera. Everything was scripted. Everything,
Yeah.
every single second of the day was scripted to what we wore, what we sang, what we done, where we were seated. You know, who was a real singer, a real person, and who was a model and an actor. It was a
Yeah.
weird, surreal weekend, but an amazing weekend. I'll never forget. And I really want to thank, you know, all those of the X Factor crew who actually, you know, gave me a weekend to remember. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself. And going in the supermarket the week after with the local supermarket person saying, "Oh, can you come and play at my wedding? You was on X Factor, weren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I actually didn't make the TV rounds, but yeah, thanks. I'll take the gig." Did you have that experience? Was American Idol like that? If someone wants to go on it, sort of when it comes up again, did you have that experience? What was your experience?
My experience, I'm gonna as much as I can talk about, but I auditioned initially. It's a Zoom audition, or you submit a video and then they give you a call back for a Zoom audition, and then if you pass, you pass. They'll move you on to the next one. You do another audition, you pass. You do another audition, you pass. You do another audition, you pass, and then you do another audition, and then it's executive producers, and then, you know, and then
I don't
you're
think people
you're
realize
brought
how
there.
many rounds there are. You
There's
know, I
so
had
many.
that. So many,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really is so many. When I had that question asked of me, you know, how did I get to the O2? I was lucky, and I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
I could have gone through God knows how many rounds before I went to the O2 filming. You know, that I knew friends of mine who was going through like local rounds, video rounds, God knows what else, 12 different rounds before they even got to the filming. You know, but I
Yeah.
was very, very lucky. But I don't think people realize when they watch the X Factor or Britain's Got Talent or anything like
Yeah.
that, how much you have to do to try and get to those final rounds. It's nerve wracking. Would you do it again? That's a big question. Would you do it again?
I think I would. I think I would. It just depends, because I think that there's a lot of maturing that I need to do before I can make that step. But it was a really great experience, and I was so lucky, so incredibly lucky to be there.
Well,
Yeah.
when you're ready, I'm sure you're thinking about that way as a direction that you go into. I think we all have that thought. Which way is the best direction for me as an indie artist? And also whether we sign up to a record label, you know, we all have those thoughts going through our head. As part of the academy, we talk about that quite often in relation to which is the best direction for you as an artist. You know, we all have those different feelings. But you know what? Callum's done it. She went on American Idol. Go and have a look at her Facebook. Go and have a look about her experiences that she had on American Idol, because it looked absolutely amazing. It reminded me of the time that when I went to go into X Factor. It's definitely worth a look. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are going to play your next track, and then we are going to empty your food cupboards. The last few months we've been saying empty your pockets, but it's more fun emptying people's food cupboards, to be honest, especially because we find out what's in them. So what we're going to do is we are going to play your next song, and then we're going to go on to our quiz. So the quiz today is literally American Idol. It is questions from the American Idol series, who've like was past winners, etc. So a little bit of an interactive quiz coming up after your song. But we are going to play If I Could. And what is that one about in terms of the story behind the song?
If I Could is about my sister. I wrote it about my sister and for my sister, to let her know that I would always be there for her and do whatever she needed, no matter what, that I would always be there. But I dedicate the song to my father, and I use it as a suicide prevention moment. And I kind of, yeah. So I dedicate it to my father, but it's about my sister.
Okay, fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this song, and then I am going to come on to that suicide prevention charity. Okay, but I took a bit of a break because I could see how what's a food bank one was sort of hard hitting for you as well. Okay, so that's why I wanted to mix it up a bit tonight. Okay, so we play this song, and then we go on to your support to suicide charity, and the type of support that you've done. Okay, if I could, here we go.
I could have helped her
but she just doesn't want it.
If I could give you my hands to feel things better, I would. Cut up my heart and give it to you like I should. Should I waste all my love on something new and good for me? Give you my brain to replace the bad feelings. Give me a reason to keep holding on to nothing. Keep coming back with some lame excuse for loving. You say you love me, but I feel nothing. Let's see if I can make your world spin faster. Turn 365 into whatever. Oh, change the way you see yourself in the mirror. Help me see things just a little bit clearer. Give me a reason to keep holding on to nothing. Keep coming back with some lame excuse for loving. You say you love me, but I feel nothing. Tell me what you need. I'm so fed up with waiting to see you happy. Maybe what's stopping you is me. Give me a reason to keep holding on to nothing. Keep coming back with some lame excuse for loving. I know you say you love me, but I feel nothing.
There's like I miss her, and you know, but I just don't know if I can talk to her. I could have helped her.
Absolutely beautiful lyrics. Really was
Yeah.
very powerful.
Thank you.
Nearly had a tear in my eye then.
Oh
How
my
dare you?
god, that's really crazy because I wrote that. I wrote that in my bed after her and I, she like told me stuff that she went through, and then I sat in my bed and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like 15. Just wrote that when I was 15, and I
Wow.
haven't changed a thing about it since.
That's a powerful song for a 15-year-old to write in relation to
Thank
the
you.
lyrics. Absolutely brilliant. Really does showcase your work in relation to a singer-songwriter. And the melody is like very drawing, haunting type of really focuses you in. I don't know
Yeah,
what other feedback you've had, but for me, I was so drawn into the song and listening to the
yeah,
lyrics, and I always feel as though I was there in terms of you when you were writing it and the feelings that you had when you was writing it. That's the type of
yeah,
song that it comes across as, and yeah, I can imagine you sitting on your bed writing that and the feelings and emotions that you were
yeah.
going through while writing it. But let's go on to your charities. And I want to just say before we do, anyone who is affected by any of the charities we talk about, especially when we talk about suicide or we talk about any of things like cancer, or anything like that, if you are affected by anything that we're talking about, please do not sit there on your own. Please go to the charities that we're going to put out for you, because they have got good support groups there. They are there to help you, okay, or at least speak to your friends and your family, okay. Don't sit on your own. And also, we're here there for you at One Life as well, okay. And I'm sure Callum is there as well. It was a great moment of support. But on a happy note, I really want to know Burgers and Bands. That's the best charity name I've ever heard. What is
Yeah.
it?
Burgers and Bands is a charity slash festival up in, I believe, Baltimore or Annapolis, Maryland. And it's suicide prevention, which is very, 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 very important. I will never not talk about any of these charities or suicide prevention. They're very important, and they have been deemed taboo for whatever reason in today's age, but everybody needs help, and that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And we've got Mental Health Awareness Month coming up in the UK this
Yes,
month.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think mental health and suicide prevention is okay. It is okay to have mental health. It is okay to be able to be in a place where you are your deepest, darkest hour. What isn't okay is we can't provide you the support. At the end of the day, we're very lucky as musicians, Callum, in terms of we
Yeah.
know how we can best support these people in terms of festivals, in terms of singles, and then in terms of donations to local charities. Burgers and Bands sound absolutely fantastic. How about Bow Strong? Is that the same, or is that a different organization?
So Bowstrong is an organization for cancer awareness, but they also have a place up in Baltimore where they take inpatients or outpatients, and they put them in this place where they're doing their treatments or they're healing, they're in the process of all of that. And they actually have a space downstairs for music therapy. So they'll bring in
Oh, cool.
musicians and they'll have them perform, and they use it
Oh,
as
wow.
like a space for the patients to come and play music or listen to music. And it's a really cool spot. And they have pictures of
I love that.
Bo on the walls. He was someone who has passed away from cancer, and that's kind of how everything started. It's really awesome, and I think that that's also something that's really important, is raising awareness for cancer, and and music therapy, because music does heal. So
It
super,
definitely does.
super into that.
And it
Yeah,
helps us every single day that we're going through as musicians. We read it in the papers every single day about musicians, what that we go through, in terms of emotional health, mental health,
yeah,
drugs and alcohol. We need those as musicians just as much as the people who are listening to us, on a daily basis. In
yeah.
terms of advocating for these charities, have you been involved? You're saying about Burgers and Bands, festivals and things like that. How often would you say you're involved in helping and like the local
Oh,
charities,
yeah.
and would you be
Every year.
do more? every year?
Yeah, I'm down to do it every year. I'm always there. I'll even volunteer. I don't even need to be a musician that plays there. I'll be there. I'll be there to support. I'm there whenever they need me. They call me. I'll be there. I'm down.
Brilliant. Thanks, Callum. You know,
Yeah.
everybody, Callum's giving out a lot of her time, like all of us musicians at One Life, you know, to local and national charities. And tonight we have heard, even for the local food banks, you know, in terms of how that's impacted her family. But, you know, the charities that she has spoke about tonight is for a very small amount of time that we speak about them. But hopefully we'll find out more from you, Callum. If you could post us some links to the charities and we get those out on One Life and we can get people finding out a bit more about those charities. I definitely want to know more about Burgers and Bands, not because it's late night here and I'm hungry. It's just I think it sounds like an absolute wicked charity, you know. So yeah, send me those
It's
information over
awesome.
and we'll get it over.
It's so awesome.
We'll get it over.
Yeah. I can send it to you guys. I got it.
Okay.
I don't have the
about
link
getting
on
hungry. Well, you can send it over to me after the program. Talking about getting hungry. Is it? Oh, cool. Fantastic.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Talking about getting hungry, it's that time where we empty your cupboards. Okay, so a young musician's cupboard, Callum. Okay, when you're out on the road gigging all the time, most of the time it is fast food, quick food, microwave meals, and God knows what else. So, if someone was to come round yours and you invited them for dinner, what would they be given as a nice slap-up meal in Maryland?
Oh gosh, come around my house, and I guess it depends because I'm a wonky eater. I'll eat yogurt, granola, yogurt, granola, bananas, grapes, and salmon, and I'm good. That's all I need.
Fantastic.
But
that's what's in there.
That's it. That's it. But we do have chicken. We have pizza rolls. We have fish sticks. We're packed. We are packed.
Okay,
brilliant. Yeah, but my favorite meal is salmon.
Salmon's great. Absolutely great food. You look after yourself as a singer, I gather. You know, you've got to keep yourself fit, especially going on those stages all that time. It's knackering work every single night, trying to gig and then come home and put all your equipment away. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I was thin once. I'm now 50 years old. It's like, you know, you need a lot of energy. Keep going with that salmon and the granola and yogurt.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Salmon
okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to empty some of those cupboards. I have quickly, before we go into the quiz, it was Callum doing the comments. Okay, so we haven't got anyone commenting. It was Callum commenting herself. She's put the Facebook links in the comment section for you. So if you want to go to those charities, please do so. Thanks, Callum. I was just going over the comments. I was just thinking someone was texting in. Anyway, let's go to America. Oh, actually, we've got a hey girl, a Kathleen Fauci. Hey girl, hey. Do you know who that is?
Hey, I do know. Hi, Kathleen.
Kathleen, you've come at a really good time because basically we are emptying out Callum's cupboards. And if you want to play along, please do so, okay? We're going over to American Idol and we're going to go into a little bit of a quiz, okay? 10 questions from the category of American Idol. If you get the question wrong, that means you have to empty your cupboards and take it down to your local food bank, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's add this to the screen. Haven't gone through this quiz yet, so I don't know what the questions are like. They may be easy, they may be hard. Last night's we basically nosedived completely between me and the other artist. I think we got 2 out of 10 because it was so difficult, and that was basically on the X Factor. I was like, I'm embarrassed now.
Yeah,
I used to love that program. I don't know more. Perhaps it's because I had stopped watching it since 2015. That's why I got it wrong. Anyway, here we go. American Idol questions. Let's see.
Can you answer these American Idol related questions? Ready? Let's go. Who was the
Right, can you hear it for starters?
Yes.
You can. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is the winner of the first season of American Idol? Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, Justin Guarini, or Kristen Holt?
The winner of the first season of American Idol.
I didn't
know. It's giving you the answer already. Look, it's on the screen. You can't see it.
Say it was Kelly.
Yeah, whatever. Adrian
I was
didn't
either
stop
gonna
it in
say
time, so
Carrie or Kelly.
B. Kelly Clarkson,
we'll use it as like a warm up.
who co-hosted the first season with Ryan Seacrest.
Okay, who co-hosted the first
Oh,
season
I
with
don't
Ryan
know if I
Seacrest,
was old
you know?
enough. I think it was Justin Timberlake, but I could be wrong.
You reckon it's Justin Timberlake, do you?
C. Brian Dunkelman,
No, there you go. What are you taking out of your cupboard out of interest? What's going to go down to the food bank?
Probably some really good Italian soup.
Oh, nice.
I like those a lot. Yeah, I like those a lot.
Brilliant.
which season was the last season with Simon Cowell as a judge?
Which season was the last season of Simon Cowell as a judge? Season 10.
I think. I could be wrong.
B. Season 9.
Nope, it was season 9. Okay, that was the last one that he came, man.
How many times has Carrie Underwood won American Idol?
One. No, never.
What you
Never,
think?
never. She didn't win.
She didn't win.
I don't think
B.
she did.
Once. She won
Oh, what?
season 4.
She
Yeah,
won it
I was
once.
right. I was right.
In which season did the show allow contestants to play musical instruments?
In which season did the show allow contestants to play musical instruments?
8. I could be wrong. I think
You said B, yeah? Mine was really interesting, the X Factor, because it was the first year that they asked everybody to go a cappella, so you
I think
could
it's-
not use a
yeah.
backing track.
Yeah, I think it might be season 8.
Okay, let's see if you're right.
D. Season 8.
Ah, congratulations, you were right. Season 8.
Don't forget to like the video. In which season did Harry Connick Jr. join the judging panel?
You know that one?
Oh god. 15?
A. Season 14.
It was season 14.
In what year did American Idol first premiere on television?
2003. Or yeah.
C. 2002.
Oh, nearly. It was 2002.
Which judge famously gave harsh criticism to contestants during the early seasons?
Simon.
It's got to be Simon, isn't it? It
Yeah,
really
it's
has to be Simon. If this is wrong and we're both wrong, there's something going on with this side quiz.
A.
Of
Simon
course it was
Cowell.
Simon.
Yeah.
Only Simon Cowell.
Who was the first male contestant to win American Idol?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I think it might be.
Yes.
I think it's Trent.
A. Ruben Studdard. Which contestant sang a duet with Brian May and Roger Taylor of Queen during the finale? D.
We'll take that as Adam Lambert. What is it with this questionnaire tonight? It's going too quickly. I can't press it quick
Yeah,
enough.
it's so
Adam
quick.
Lambert. Who was the first American Idol contestant to perform an original song during the finale?
I want to say David Cook.
A.
It
David
is
Cook.
David Cook. Well done. Okay, we're doing one more.
Who was the first American Idol winner to receive a Grammy Award?
Kelly.
Kelly Clarkson.
B. Kelly
It
Clarkson.
was. See, you got 4 right, didn't you, hey? So
I
that
think
means
so.
you got
I
6.
was not keeping score.
I was counting, don't you worry. I was counting in my head as we was going along. Okay, so that means 6 items out of your cupboard. I'm sure you've got more that you can donate, but so please do so. Be inventive and creative in how you do it. Get some family
Yeah.
and friends involved and tell them who you are. I'll tell you what, we've had some great ideas. We've basically said as indie artists, when we go in the local food market, especially if it's a supermarket, we don't hear our music. It's always the same music. So we're going to be taking our own singles, our own albums, and say, we will give you our food parcel if you put our song on the radio over the tannoy. How cool to get your music out to everybody else. That's a great idea. So
Yeah.
we've not got long left. We have basically got some time just to talk about what the rest of 2025 is going to look like for Callum. You know, we've still got quite a lot of the year to go. What's people going to expect coming up for Callum?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to college in September, which I'm really excited for. And I'm going to try my hardest not to just disappear when I leave. I'm going to try to be present. I'm going to try to continue to be on social media and release music, or because I've been working on a full-length project for years now. I've released EP and single, but I've had this idea for a full-length album forever, and that's kind of what I'm going to be working on for a while. But I'm going to try to be present, and I mean, I'm going to college. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, new music and college.
New music in college, cool. Okay, college is really important, especially to get your grade.
Yeah.
But don't forget your music. Okay,
Yeah.
don't want to be waiting another 2 years for that album. Okay, and I'm only talking from experience because I set my album up 6 years ago and I still haven't finished it.
Yeah.
One day, everybody. Okay, one day. I do promise you, in the One Live team. Okay, I will get the album sorted out. Okay, but I sort of stuck on singles. You know, I've got loads of singles out there, but the album's just not quite finished yet. We're talking 6 years down the line, so don't do it, AJ. Okay, get it out there, especially for your fans like Kathleen, who really wants to get that out and about. Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant, excellent. Okay, well, we've nearly come to the end of the show. Kathleen joined in with you in terms of the quiz. She's had a great time with you as well. A great friend by the looks of it, and you got some great people behind you. Some great music coming out. You know, and we really want to keep in contact with you in terms of One Life. We want to get you back on the show. If there is anything on One Life that you're particularly interested in, or you feel that we can help you as a team, please let us do so. You know, we've got lots and lots of different contacts as well. So please keep in contact with us. But we wish you all the best for your career, all the best for all the music that you're bringing out. It seems absolutely amazing. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Callum on the show. Callum, is there anyone you want to say a special thank you to in relation to supporting you in your music journey?
Yeah, actually, Kathleen. Kathleen's been very, very helpful, and my whole team as well. Just not just Kathleen, but my whole team. And everybody who's been supporting me since day one, and everybody who has actually believed in me, because I struggle with that and finding my why and my purpose, as my team calls it. I've kind of struggled with that, but they still back me up, and that's what's important. So just thank you to my team and my mom.
It's lovely to hear. And Kathleen is flooding you with messages tonight. You know, she's really looking forward to you coming across the pond. She's really looking forward to your music. You know, Berkeley's not just any college, you know, she's saying. So, you know, you've got a lot of people behind you. And I'll tell you what, Callum, I'll tell you, when people hear your music tonight, and I'm going to send it over to the International Singer-Songwriters Association group as well, you know, when they hear your music tonight, you know, they're going to be very, very surprised. And I'm sure your music's going to go out far and wide, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I want to say thank you to everybody who's joined us tonight. Thank you for everybody who continues to support the show, continues to support our charities, and also continues to enjoy and support the Academy as well. It's been an absolutely fantastic week, but we are not finished yet. We are already on hump day, because coming up on Friday night, we have got Shell from the ISSA team coming up on the show, and we really look forward to another episode of One Life. Okay, enjoy your evening, enjoy tomorrow, everyone, and we're going to let Callum go now, but she's not going very fast. She's going to be posting some great balls. Okay, take good care of yourself, Callum. It's been lovely to meet you. Okay,
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
bye.
Bye.